what sort of cost was it to run the whole series and the individual rounds?
Well, it started out not costing anything. So, for the first, it took 4 years to get a sponsor that paid a single penny. So initially, it really didn't cost anything, and then as the race got bigger, it kind of the cost exponentially grew. And I think in 2017, I think we had a budget of I think we spent about $1.6 million on the whole series, and each event was a different, each event cost a different amount, but you had to average out over the whole championship, where the race in Brooklyn cost double the amount of the race in Milan, but it was a single budget for the whole championship. And the margins were super thin. Like we would, a race in Brooklyn would be $400,000, and we would have $405,000 of revenue. So where we didn't lose money, a lot of bike races lose money and they go into debt and they don't pay their bills. We always at least broke even, but it was, I would never go into debt with putting on an event, so it was always razor thin margins.
And what made it cost so much money? I mean, that's a lot of cash.
Yeah. I would say the biggest expense we had was staff. We had a really good team. We had a lot of people working on it. We brought the same staff to all the events, so there was a lot of travel and lodging, and we hired people that had a lot of experience. And just by the time you have 40 people on your payroll for an event, those costs add up. And then the venue costs were very high. The security, especially in New York, the security costs were $100,000 or something just to have the police there to do nothing and hang out by the food trucks. So so I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but if you compare it to other professional events, it's really actually a pretty shoestring budget.
Got you.
Just by the time you're bringing that many people into a venue and running, that kind of operation with that kind of safety risk and crowd control, it just adds up.
I mean, you've kind of answered the next question in there, but was it too big to sustain financially?
I don't think it was too big, because I think the value of the event was even more than the money we were bringing in. I think, and there's events that have a fraction of the exposure we have that cost way more. They just happen to have somebody willing to pay for it. So I think it's just, as the world turns, sometimes you find people to fund your things, and sometimes you don't. And we ran into a period where we didn't have the funding, but I don't think it necessarily got to be too big. If anything, I think our budget was too small. Like, in order to make it to the next step, which would have been live streaming and broadcast and more events, we needed a lot more money, triple or 5 times the amount of money. But maybe then it would have become more sustainable if we had more money.
Got you.
Because then we would have attracted bigger sponsors.
Yes. So if you're watching and you've got 2 million quid spare, now you know what to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And to listen to the full podcast, you can search the Keira McVitty Podcast in your favourite podcast platform, or you can click the link below. Keep risking it for a biscuit, and I'll see you in the next video.